Thank you for a very, very kind introduction. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I do a lot of public speaking. But today I'm nervous because I have not seen an August gathering like this. I'm seeing this after a very long time. So many good people under one roof. So thank you all for coming. So I'm delighted to be speaking on Ikram Sehgal Saab's authorship yet once again. Ikram Sehgal does it again. We will be celebrating his 80th birthday, mashallah, tomorrow. Happy birthday, Ikram Sehgal Saab. But there's something else that you don't know. Today is his dad's birthday. And it's Lieutenant Colonel Abdul Majid Saab. He's passed away. I was just having a conversation with Ikram Sehgal Saab a minute before the ceremony, and he shared this with me. And he said, I wanted to do it today to honor him because he suffered a lot because of me. And, you know, a lot of people know that Ikram Sehgal Saab was also called the Ghaddar, and the father had to pay a price for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together in his honor. So, this time, it is National Security Strategy 2002-2026. Sitting on more than 1,100 pages and 31 chapters. It's a heavy book, and this is huge. The book begins with gratitude to all his loved ones sitting in this third row and the first row, and Zarar is here with us. But above all, he thanks Allah. And it is followed by acknowledgement that are full of humility, care, sensitivity, and consideration. A warm thank you to those who most of us forget to mention. I know some of them personally, and I know that acknowledgement made their day, but they had no sense of entitlement. But Ikram remembers people. That's who he is. The book also has a very warm dedication, a shift from two-liners to the Sharif family. He's our chief guest today. I'm not going to say anything about it. You have to read it, because it gives you the insight on what the military is, who are these people, and how they sacrifice loved ones, one after the other, and continue to stand tall for this country. The country's defense has become impenetrable because of them, and May 25th, it was proven beyond shadow of a doubt. I've known Ikram Sehgal Saab for nearly 20 years now, and I've always respected him for his great intellect, but more so for consistency of purpose. This is why writing the foreword of the book was an immense pleasure and an honor. You have to read what the foreword says. I picked up what he says about me because I loved it. His comment about it actually made my day. He says that I'm hoping one day this country will recognize her merit, that's me, and make her the foreign minister of Pakistan. Yes. Now, Ikram Sehgal Saab, if your book, this strategy is adopted, I will become the foreign minister of Pakistan. Until then, I'm happy being your multiplier. The period 2002-2026 is one of the most consequential in Pakistan's history. It was marked by profound transformation. Pakistan shifted from being a frontline state in the war on terror to aspiring to become geo-economic connector and a zipper state. It was a major, major paradigm shift. It was also about a lot of military-led governance to repeated democratic transitions, wanting rapid growth to handling recurring economic slowdowns. And that is to date. But what is being very, very emphatically put forward is that geography is also an economic opportunity. It's time Pakistan realized that. Iran has, the war is on Hormuz, about Hormuz, everybody wants to turn it into an ATM. The war begins from the development of national security concept by Sehgal Saab in his first ever lecture at NDC, which later, of course, became NDU in 2002, and he carries that investigation into 2026, where we stand today. This is an extremely ambitious work, reflecting the author's conviction. He declares that the strategy is not a collection of ambitions and slogans, but discusses an important point of what Pakistan wants, what instruments and resources Pakistan possesses or can realistically develop, and how those instruments can be used to achieve clearly prioritized national objectives. It is solution-oriented. As a nation, we are very good at the blame game and at pointing out what's wrong. Very few people come up with solutions. The book resonates with me personally because it is people-centric. It is about national security, but it is people-centric. My PhD focused on non-traditional sources of conflict in South Asia, and my first chapter was state-society relations. Ikram's focus on Pakistan's dysfunctional state-society relations is particularly insightful. This is clearly evident in his declaration that 26 million children out of school constitutes a national emergency. We still continue to allocate the least to education. That continues to be the dilemma of Pakistan. The book also, of course, includes issues like food security, climate resilience, water, energy, population growth, inequality, education, so on and so forth. A lot of security issues that do not become a part of our day-to-day and drawing room conversations. But that is real security, ladies and gentlemen. Ikram is a success story from Pakistan. He himself says it. I became zero. I heard that myself. To who he is today. A force to reckon with, providing security to Pakistan, and constantly thinking about the security of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, I have so much to say, but because I'm going to conduct this ceremony, I'm going to confine myself to my time so that I can ask all the speakers to do the same. There are two books that are talked about constantly. One is How Nations Fail, which explains why nations prosper, and The Rise and Fall of Nations explains why they stagnate. These chronicles explain how a developing state can build national strength through an integrated strategy of governance, security, and economic resilience. Security should always be evaluated through prosperity, opportunity, justice, participation, and social confidence. We neither have equality nor equity. This is more than a book on national strategy, it is a theory of national development. The book advances a comprehensive framework for building resilient and prosperous states in the 21st century. It is also future-looking. Pakistan has spent decades reacting to one crisis after another. The greatest contribution of this book is that it forces us to think beyond today's headlines. The conversations should be around scale and milestones. That is something we don't do. What kind of Pakistan are we trying to build over the next 25 years? Strategy is not about reacting. It's about anticipating. The fire brigade, the push it under the carpet, and the band-aid approaches have to go. It's time to replace reactive crisis management with proactive strategic planning. This is exactly what Ikram Sehgal is saying. Nations that only react to crisis rarely shape history. They merely survive it. Pakistan has shaped history. It has the potential to shape it again, not just in South Asia, but also in West Asia. The book also extensively emphasizes on prioritizing economic prosperity as our security policy. Your sovereignty will always remain compromised unless you have economic security. We need a more formal national security architecture. The fact that we're still talking about it and we've just come out with a document, but there's no implementation, so to say. Strategy should emerge through consultation and consensus rather than dictation. If I may quote the author, he says, too often, after a crisis was ongoing, it was clear that there had been little prior coordination or integration of policy instruments.